This is the part of the construction that I am most concerned about. If you recall from several months ago, when I was working on this part of the superstructure, I had to do a lot of modifications to get the components to fit together. The fit was bad not only to the parts higher up on the superstructure, but also to the wooden deck veneer that it gets installed around. In the previous video, when I applied the wooden deck veneer, I was for the first time able to place this component on the deck in the correct position and see that everything most likely would fit together. But today I will actually install this second level of the superstructure onto the model and hopefully get a good result. Once I get through this step, I'll feel a lot better about the rest of the build. Before I can install this large second level assembly onto the first level, I have to install this small section with the compass platform. I need to install this smaller platform first because this aft section of the deck has a slight sag in it that once this platform structure is installed on will pull it up and level it out. Since this will require me to push the second level deck up into this smaller platform, I have to do that while it is unattached to the model, otherwise I won't be able to reach underneath it. This platform fits very tightly onto the deck below, it almost clips together. So if I can get the platform in place and then hold it in place for the duration that the glue is drying, I should get a good bond and a nice level second deck. To get the necessary leverage to hold the platform in place, I use jars and bits and pieces that I have lying around and place them on the top of the platform. Once the jars are taped into position, the platform is securely held in place and extra thin plastic cement can be applied to the bottom of the platform. After ensuring that plastic cement has been applied around the entire perimeter of the base of the platform, I set the component aside to dry for a day. Now that the glue for the platform has fully dried, I can install the second level deck onto the first level deck. To glue this section of superstructure in place, I'm going to start with Revell Contactor Professional. Revell Contactor Professional is quite a thick plastic cement, and the reason that I'm going to be using that instead of just going straight to extra thin plastic cement is because this component is going to be going in an area where there is a lot of wooden deck around it. The reality is that even though I did try to get the fit as good as possible with the wooden deck and this component, there are areas where the wooden deck goes underneath this component. That means there is a fraction of a millimeter standing off between the plastic on the deck of the first level of the superstructure and the plastic for this component that is being installed. If I were to only use extra thin plastic cement, I'm a bit concerned that it wouldn't be able to cover the gap and then this component would not be properly glued down. By applying this thick plastic cement to a few key points, the hope is that it will, at least in those locations, be able to cover the gap and once that glue has fully hardened, be able to successfully hold this component in place. That being said, I will also apply extra thin plastic cement to the perimeter of this deck so that if there are any areas where there is plastic in direct contact with plastic, the extra thin plastic cement will be able to reinforce that bond. You might be wondering why I'm not using super glue instead of plastic cement. The reason for that is that plastic cement will eat through paint, meaning that the bond will be plastic to plastic even if there is a layer of paint in the way. Super glue tends to stick to the paint and not penetrate through to the plastic, meaning it has a weaker bond on painted components. As with the smaller platform, while applying the extra thin plastic cement, I hold this level of the superstructure in place using tape, although I don't need to hold it down as tightly as I did with that smaller component because at least at this point, all the decks that are being attached to each other are level. It just needs to be held in position and to not move while the glue is drying. Once again, I leave the glue to dry for 24 hours before working on the ship further. The largest fit issue with the first and second level of the superstructure is found on its aft section. The second level of the superstructure, which is slid in between these taller bulkheads that run for 2 levels, doesn't quite go far enough back to create a flush finish. If it did, it would be a simple matter of filling gaps with plastic putty, like I'll need to do on the sides. Unfortunately, that is not the case, and there is this large gap that needs to be filled with something. This gap could be filled with a lot of plastic putty, but I think that's just going to make it difficult to level out. It will require a lot of careful sanding. So I'm going to try something different. I'm going to use super glue. I've used super glue to fill gaps like this before, although never this large and this thin. So I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do this. Normally I use medium or thick viscosity super glue, and that's where I started, but As you can see, the glue just pooled on top of the tape. It didn't actually flow into this very narrow gap, so I decided to switch over to extra thin superglue. Of course, pouring extra thin superglue into such a thin gap is going to be basically impossible, so I used the wire from my superglue applicator to help guide the superglue into the gap. This required some quite careful control to make sure the glue didn't go in places where it wasn't supposed to go. And in hindsight, looking at what I was doing here, this was rather risky. I should have put a lot more tape on the area in case some of the glue escaped the wire and overflowed. If I got that super glue onto the deck, I don't know what I would have done. But fortunately, this went surprisingly well, and I was able to almost perfectly fill up this small gap at the aft of the structure. During this process, a little bit of the superglue did overflow and spill out onto the second level of the superstructure around the aft gun director. Fortunately, there is tape in most of this area, and that did give me enough space to apply paper towel to suck up that superglue. Extra thin superglue does flow very well on glossy surfaces like this deck, so using paper towel to absorb it does actually work. You just have to be careful not to glue the paper towel to the surface, but in this case, since there was tape, if that did happen, it wouldn't matter because I'll just remove the tape. Once again, this requires a long time for the glue to dry, especially since this is extra thin super glue, so I set the ship aside for yet another day while I waited for this super glue to set. A day later, I returned to the model, hopeful for a good outcome and to remove all the tape. And I was not disappointed. It worked surprisingly well. There's a bit of a bow to it, which is not surprising, but it's a nice hard surface that can be easily sanded, and there isn't that much that needs to be corrected or removed. To start the cleanup process, I used the rotary sander with 400 grit sandpaper. I don't really expect this to give me a perfect surface. My intention is once I've sanded it back a bit and removed any of the last remnants of tape, I'll put on top of it a thin layer of putty, which can then be sanded off quite easily, and then on top of that put surfacer to hopefully get a nice smooth surface. After the initial sanding with the rotary sanding tool, I switched over to a sanding sponge. This is 400 grit sandpaper, sanded a bit more, and then switched back and forth between the rotary sanding tool and the sandpaper until I got a surface that I thought looked pretty flat and in a good state for putty to be applied to it. A thin layer of plastic putty was then carefully applied to the surface, and at the same time was applied to the gaps that are on the sides of this superstructure. These gaps are a little bit awkward to fill. They are right on a corner, and that means that they are going to be susceptible to that corner being damaged and smoothed off. It might lose its crispness, so I need to be careful about that. And on top of that, there are a lot of small, fine details in the area, so I'm going to have to be very careful when removing the excess putty. Fortunately though, the gap here is roughly 5mm, and I just so happen to have 5mm discs for the rotary sanding tool, which means that I think it will work quite nicely to remove this putty quite easily. Without that tool, removing this putty would be considerably more tricky. Anyway, that's something for a little bit later. On the top of the bulkheads, where I need to fill a gap and then create a nice clean edge that is slightly raised above the deck, I first place tape to help get that crisp edge and then apply the putty on top of the tape. After letting the putty dry for a few minutes, I remove the tape to create that nice clean edge. Once again, the model is set aside to dry for another 24 hours. Yes, there is a lot of time spent letting things dry in this video. Now that the putty is dried, it can be sanded. I start with the rotary sanding tool and 400 grit sandpaper and carefully work my way through the putty, avoiding damaging the edge and the details in the area. After working through the majority of the putty with the sanding tool, I move on to sanding cloth. This is just so that I can get into corners. Obviously the sanding tool being a disc means it doesn't do corners well, so I do need to do a little bit of touch up. But doing just a little bit of touch up with the sanding cloth is so much easier than having to try and sand the entire area this way. This is 600 grit sanding cloth. As is so often the case with this kind of a thing, this is a bit of an iterative process, especially on the starboard side where the gap was larger. After going through the first round of sanding, it didn't quite look right. So I applied more plastic putty to help fill that gap. Once again, left it to dry for several hours, not as long as before because it is a thinner layer of putty, so it does dry more quickly. And then went through a second round of sanding with the sanding tool and sanding cloth. After getting the putty in the gap nicely blended in with the plastic around it, I had somewhat damaged or slightly moved this corner and it wasn't standing straight anymore. So I now need to correct that. I found that the best way to correct that is to use tape to create a nice clean edge. Essentially on whichever edge is more convenient, I place a piece of tape and ensure that it is standing vertically and use that as a guide for the sander. Once it is in position, and then use the sanding tool to sand up to that edge, and if I do go a little bit over, the tape protects the plastic, preventing it from being sanded away. When the tape is removed, I then get a nice clean edge restored to the corner. Similar treatment was also given to the large gap at the aft of the structure. Here I used the sanding disc to go through the majority of the excess putty until I got it into a reasonably flat state, and then used a 400 grit sanding sponge and then a 600 grit sanding cloth to clean up the edge and smooth it out. As with the putty for the gaps on the side of the superstructure, this was an iterative process and I had to go through a few rounds of applying putty and then sanding it off until I got a nice flat surface. During the filling and sanding process on this aft bulkhead, it was clear that I wasn't going to be able to get a nice top to it. So I had to think about how I could restore that. In the end, I settled on using a 0.5mm piece of styrene stock that I could lay across the top of the deck to create a nice smooth edge and then fill in the gap between it and the side of the platform with more plastic putty. In doing so, I did create a slight curved overhang because this gap isn't quite 0.5mm, but I figured I could then sand it back to the correct level. This all worked surprisingly well and I got a nice clean edge. With all the gaps filled and edges restored, I can now go to the first round of surfacing. I'm going to use Mr. Surfacer 1000 and spray it over the area to reveal any defects. And I do expect defects. One of the problems with plastic putty, unless you are able to really force it into a gap, is that it does capture small air bubbles. And those air bubbles will often show up as soon as you apply surfacer. That is why I haven't gone directly to paint, because I do not expect this surface to be smooth. I expect it to be micro holes that need to be filled. That also means that I'm going to be applying a lot of surfacer. I'm going to cake it on. The reason why I'm not going to do this with a paintbrush is because after you've mixed the surfacer, you would have introduced air bubbles to it, and if you paint it on with a brush, those air bubbles transfer with the surfacer and create more micro bubbles. The only way that I've found to be sure that those bubbles don't come through is to use an airbrush. So bear in mind, what I'm trying to do here with the airbrush is fill holes, not to do straight up surfacing. I fully intend to be sanding off the majority of this surfacer. But even still, even though there is a lot of surfacer applied here, too much, I can see that the finish is quite good and I think I'm going to be very happy with the results. Once again, after giving the surfacer, you guessed it, a day to dry, I can remove the excess surfacer and create the final finish. The paintwork is now ready to be touched up. Starting with a Mr. Color number 14, navy blue, I spray this over the area and you can see as it goes on I get a nice clean finish. The edge is crisp, the details are still present, and the gap is basically invisible. I'm quite happy with that outcome. It's gone about as well as I could have hoped. After Mr. Color number 14, I move on to Mr. Color 308, the light gray for the camouflage. This is sprayed onto the top of the bulkheads and onto the large correction at the aft of the structure. This process did require quite a lot of masking, and yes, I did think about the order in which I was going to apply this paint to reduce the amount of masking that I'd have to do. Normally I'd paint light colors to dark colors, but in this case you can see I'm going dark, then light, then dark. That was just to reduce the amount of masking that I needed to do. Anyway, after spraying 308, the light gray is masked off, and the deck is sprayed in Mr. Color 365, which is a dark blue. After the corrections to the deck, all the tape is removed, revealing the final result for this correction. And I am very happy and very relieved. This has gone about as well as I could have hoped for. I can now move on to what was my second biggest area of concern, the base of the funnel, and I'll be dealing with that in the next video. If you don't want to wait for the scheduled release of videos and want to watch them when they are uploaded, consider becoming a channel member by clicking the join button below. If you would like to support the channel, like and subscribe, and as always, questions are welcome in the comments. Thank you for watching. Cheers.